So, but this all points back to this whole Kamala Harris as a media campaign versus a political campaign,
Mm.
which in my opinion is part of the reason that she lost, right? Like you can't just sell like this you can't market yourself to be president without, and I want to be cautious with how I speak about this, because Trump did this as well, but he also lied so well to people about what he was going to do, right? To make sure that all the blame went to immigrants and all these things, and these are the things he's going to do to fix all the problems, and it's all nonsensical, right? He's not actually going to fix anything. It's not his intention to fix anything, and he used the media to do it. But it's hard. I've been trying to figure out a way to explain that although Trump's campaign had nothing to do with actual policy, because he was lying about what he was going to do as president and presenting it as if it was going to be policy. It read different to the room, if I'm making any sense. Like, if your whole campaign is explaining why Trump's the bad guy, and you don't present anything that's actually going to say, here's how we're going to fix the problems, then it creates this vacuum which Trump is able to utilize, right? Because although he's also not going to fix the problems, he at least admitted there were problems, right? Like, it's tricky. But part of the conversation is also about how much money was put into this marketing of a campaign that had no policy, right? And so, this whole thing with, did she pay people? And how do you manage explaining that you, with your large audience, received a really healthy check, and then you went about, putting this whole campaign forward as if it was a real campaign, when you were very clear that there was no policy behind it, but you didn't tell anybody that you got a check, right? And so Oprah Winfrey has been saying she didn't get any money. She didn't get any money. There's this, she made a statement to The Root about she absolutely didn't, but the money went to Harpo. Does she not own Harpo? Is that not her company?
So I saw the line in what you sent, and I think
She own a small percentage of it now. So she don't even own it.
she doesn't own Harpo Productions.
The last time I checked, she has a small percentage. I'm gonna look again.
All right. Well, but okay. The line I saw was, because it says here in the Root from earlier this month that she breaks silence on allegations she was paid $1 million by Kamala's campaign, and then goes on to say that it's not true. I was paid nothing, never. All right. Harpo Productions also denies the claims, telling Variety in a statement the campaign paid for the production costs of Unite for America, which Harpo Productions put on, a live streaming event that took place on September 19th. Oprah Winfrey was at no point during the campaign paid a personal fee, nor did she receive a fee from Harpo.
But can we be clear, just so we're all clear, that the Unite for America live stream was the interview between Kamala Harris and Oprah Winfrey? Like, that was what the live stream was. It was that interview. So I am confused, and maybe someone in the chat can explain, like, where is this distinction that they're trying to make? Because Harpo 100% got $1 million, right?
So
it's in the chart.
Right. So Google's AI says Oprah Winfrey founded Harpo Productions, also known as Harpo Studios, and is the owner of the company. So What I assumed
Did
when I
you find
read
it,
that
Geechee?
was,
Because I'm curious.
but
I'm still looking, but I thought it was co-owned, and Warner Brothers got like most of the percentage of it. But I'm still looking. The co-owned by Harpo Studios and the Warner Brothers. But yeah, let me keep looking.
but if you own something in whole or in part that is paid or generates revenue, you earn money from that. So you can say you don't have to be paid a salary by Harpo or a fee, as the story says, and you don't have to be given, as it also says, a quote personal fee, but you still benefit financially from the revenue generated by a company you own in whole or in
Right. And
part.
it's a live
You
stream
it's a
that
live
it's getting money from YouTube, from Google. Like
and
I
you
just
are also there promoting it. And as the face of Harpo, we're even having to Google it to look up to what to the extent that anyone knows that Harpo exists, they're going to associate it with Oprah. So even as the brand ambassador,
That's my bad, bro.
what's your bad?
Harpo Productions is what she has, but the own network, Harpo owns
No,
5%. Yeah,
own.
my
Now
bad. Yeah,
that I
yeah.
knew, own because
95% is the owner.
I get this from Dr. Burrows. Owned at best has only ever been half owned by Oprah
She only got
herself.
5% now.
Right. Okay. So, but
Yeah,
Harpo is hers. Harpo
yeah,
Productions is hers. So
yeah.
yeah. So that even makes more sense. So the entity you owned gets $1 million. You can sit there and say, I didn't get paid. I didn't get a fee to appear. I didn't. But
right,
it wasn't, it wasn't Renee and Geechee Productions producing it with Oprah hosting the joint. You know what I'm saying? Like you all got the point is you're hosting something that your company owns the production of that they paid for. And then you say, I don't
right,
get no money from it. That don't make no
right.
sense.
And then you have Roland Martin, whose New Vision got 350 hundred like 350,000 dollars from the campaign, right? And then when someone asks Roland Martin about doing, this softball interview, he's indignant in response, right? Al Sharpton does a nonsensical interview on MSNBC, and his organization, the National Action Network, whatever his org is, also got hundreds of thousands of dollars. You have the person who is behind BET, who also is behind this, I guess, Waymaker, right? The Waymaker company that did that documentary that was on PBS, Jared, that I sent to you.
Mm-hmm.
And his and they got $200,000, right? You have what's the woman's name? It's like a Vera. Hold on, let me find it because it's another book. There's another person who has a whole show, and she was all, she's posting about her sister and all these things, and she also got $200,000. Like, so I'm just trying to understand, and what I want people to understand is there is there is not a path to revolution, to freedom, to liberation, to political power that comes down this line, right? Like it just simply does not come down this path
I'm just
because
showing here New Vision. This is New Vision's Roland
right,
Martin's company. Just showing that where it shows up on the spreadsheet. Sorry, go ahead.
no, you're good. So I want to make sure, like, part of what we talk about here, and the reason we talk about the propaganda and following the money and understanding the role of capitalism is because we want people to pay attention to how these things work, right? So she's not on, Roland Martin is not trying to sell you liberation, right? He got his check, and he wanted to make sure that he kept his check, right? Like, so he did a softball interview,
What was the name of that
like
way? What was it? Way what again?
Waymaker.
Waymaker. That's right. Waymaker. Right. That's right. That's right.
Waymaker.
Yeah, they got the
And
200,000.
Waymaker has a whole connection to all the HBCUs, right? They have a whole thing that they do for HBCUs. So is that why, she did her HBCU tour, right? Like, I even found in Atlanta there's
Because they did the one from Morgan State that you sent me, right? That's them doing
yes,
that.
yes,
Yeah. So
yes.
that I can confidently say is a nice PR campaign from Morgan State, who who it was just announced doubled the pay of our president to more than $1 million plus a year, while cutting the custodial. I'm just putting these two together from a recent meeting, cutting the custodial staff hours by at least half, um, leaving our building. I don't know the state of others in unsatisfactory conditions, but they got a very good PBS promotional campaign. Um, you know, so a Kamala Harris campaign level quality
Um,
PBS.
it's just a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot of money. Um, there's a there if you pull up the link to the FEC, it'll show you the people who are like the top money that was spent in the campaign. Um, and it's
All
it's it,
right.
it's a lot. So hit the yeah, and like
Good goobly goop, said Grady once
right,
upon a time. So what is this? 43
right.
million on media
And that
buys.
company, this media
What is
buying
media
and
buying
analytics,
analytics?
when I tell you, you can't find out like who's really behind that company. It was linked to something else, another media firm, but it's very, in my opinion, it's like a tenuous link. So I didn't even really want to put it out there as like a thing, because it just, I couldn't fully confirm it. But to me, if you can't fully confirm something, that is problematic. Is it not?
Media buying no, that's not the same thing. I, I mean, they got a lot of money to not
They
be
got
able
a
to
lot of money.
to yeah, I would have to look. I don't see anything coming up very quickly here either. But that's wild. Okay.
And
It,
so
it
this
says it's
is
connected to the Democratic Party, and it is Canal Partners Media or something like that.
that was it, Canal Partners Media. That was the
Yeah.
other, but even in trying to like make that real link, right? Like, it's shaky at best. Like, I didn't feel comfortable saying like these are directly, like these two companies are directly connected, because I like to be able to really prove stuff, and it just felt tenuous is probably the best word I can think of for it. You know what I mean? Like, it just
The
didn't feel like a
canals
real connect.
their website might need to be updated because it just says they're the lead buying agency for President Biden in 2020.
Yeah, and Bobby Khan is the person who. Let me see more about Bobby Khan.
Yeah, started the LUC or started LUC Media in '93. Woo woo woo. what was this? Following years of litigation against broadcasters overcharging candidates in violation of the Communications Act. So their argument is give us the money and we'll get you good deals on your buying, your ad buys.
Yeah.
Yeah, they work with a lot of work for Mfume for Congress.
Yeah, because there's well, it's in Georgia, so he probably got a couple Democrats in Georgia office too.
So, but yeah, okay, all right. All of the money went to
Right.
them.
Seeing it, right?
Yeah, he's a former Bobby Conner is a former chief of staff of former Governor Georgia Roy E. Barnes, and the former chair of the Democratic Party of Georgia.
DuPont
So
Circle Strategies, media. So it's like
Which,
all media.
these are all it's all media consulting firms, almost all of it.
So does and marketing, creative LLC. So are these the people that then funnel the money to the Roland Martins and Harpos and?
Yep.
No, they got paid directly. Like the New Vision, that
Act Blue.
spreadsheet that you pulled up was me downloading the raw file from the FEC and then searching through it.
Oh wow, okay.
To find, like where that money went, because it's not all presented in this chart yet, because the FEC has to move the money from the raw file into the website. So like the money they gave to Al Sharpton's campaign is in here, but I think it's because that happened pretty early in the campaign. I don't think, if I remember correctly, like when I searched for Harpo, this wasn't there yet.
Well, this is how you create a candidate. You spend like $1 billion on media strategies.
Right. Right. And so for all the things, right? Like
there's Harpo.
Oh, it is there. Okay.
Yeah, Harpo's here. Yeah.
There you go. 500
Event
mil.
production. 500.
Right. And it just seems to me like to play this game about, it's just like, that's just a lot of money. Like, look at the amount of money that was put towards, we're going to set up a marketing strategy, right? There's New Vision. There it is. New Vision Media. 350.
Yep, right there. So, but again, but to me, this is why we end up with the sisters in the AI meme on the wall drinking coffee. Like, this is what helps produce that political logic.
Right.
And why I think they would feel that they had an actual loss. And this is also why I would argue we can't expect to decide. We're not going to get money to the level that we can put into campaigns to rival this level of. So we have to develop other strategies, movements, grassroots politics, etc. Because this is, we're still pages. There's still 48,000 entry. There's still like 30 pages. What am I seeing here? I don't know. There's 30 pages of results or per page, and there's still like 300 pages or 30 more of the 300 pages. My point is, there's a lot of money that they're spending that we can't expect to just catch up to. That's really the point I'm making.
Right. And I think this circles back to the woman in Atlanta who's there you go, no, that's a different company. That's not
the National Action Network.
Oh, there it is. Not, sorry, I was looking above it at Al Media. Sorry.
Oh yeah, not Al Media. Big Al Media. No, it's like Little Al Media. This is what I meant.
Right.
Yeah.
And they got two payments of
Oh, they got two.
250,000. Two, yeah, $500,000.
Wow.
And if you
Who
go ahead.
is who does Steve Harvey? Does he have his own thing, Steve Harvey?
So I
Does
couldn't.
he?
So that's the hard part because I can't. I don't know everybody's companies like just looking at it
Mhm.
off the top of my head. But there's Waymaker. You see it, Waymaker Media. That's the that's
Oh,
the company, right? So
yeah.
yep. And then I wish. Oh, there it is. Ariva Martin. That is the woman whose name I was trying to remember. So Ariva Martin is another one who has like a show and did an interview, and that's her. So how can you even say for certain that Ariva Martin, with all her following and all of these things, actually believed that Kamala Harris was a good candidate? Because if you get $200,000, not for nothing, but I mean, I'm sure more than one person who would say whatever whatever you tell them to say. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm just looking for. It says one of Steve Harvey is Steve Harvey Global and Objectively Good Media. I'm just trying to see Paul Harvey. I don't think this is exactly what I was looking
Objectively
for.
Good Media. That's the name they chose.
Yeah, Objectively Good Media, OGM, the production company is developing a Steve Harvey's biopic. Oh, okay. Because the reason I asked is just to the point that you're raising here, Renee, is that Harvey was one of the early ones. Remember, he even shouted down people who were saying, "You're not going to give like a real interview. You're not going to raise questions." He was like, "Hell nah, I'm trying to get the sister elected. I'm gonna do whatever I can. Hell no, I'm not objective." He's like,
Right,
"And you all need to not be objective either, and get on the train." And I
right.
was said, "Okay, yeah, all right."
And so, and then there are firms like, and I brought the wrong. I'm not in the house, and I brought the wrong notebook with me, so I can't remember. I had it all noted. But there's a firm, a marketing influencer firm, and their whole, like, this company's entire gig is to sell you influencers. So they have a bag of people who are influencers, right? And if you have something that you want to sell, they can give you their influencers for a charge, and then those influencers will then sell whatever thing it is that you're trying to market to publicly. And so I started thinking about, even like the reels and the TikToks about, we showed the one girl who was like, y'all said she's a cop, but here's this thing that she was trying to do for people, and it
Mm,
turned out to be a program that didn't actually do anything that the program was supposed to be doing, and that was proved to not work to the benefit of people, right? So is that young lady an influencer who is part
Wait a
of
minute. I'm
like
sorry.
oh, you're good. But does that connection make sense? So because
Wait a
that's
minute.
the part of it. Go ahead.
Aretha Martin
Yes,
is the one who had me on the show
yes,
with Juliet Malveaux and had me in that
yes.
whole. Oh,
See, you always you. I tell you, start going over there in Fox News and all that stuff. That's when you was on Raw with
but that's
Ross
when
Mack another
Juliet
time.
Malveaux is telling me that I'm a this and I'm a that, and you ain't this and you ain't that.
See,
And you sitting there with somebody getting 200 grand to shill for Kamala Harris?
accepting an invitation, Joe.
Oh, Renee in the spreadsheet.
Sorry, y'all. But that's where it all, so that's my whole thing, right? So that's why, like, this AI generated picture by this woman who calls herself an influencer out of Atlanta, like, all of these people, you can't even figure out who is actually real with their politics, because this entire scenario surrounding this Democratic campaign was a paid for media strategy that had nothing to do with policy and people. So it, and again, this is not me saying that Trump's campaign was any better, right? I'm not like, this is not, this has nothing to do with that. This is me really making sure that people understand, like, this is the problem, right? And everybody who is up in arms right now because, Kamala lost and it's racism and sexism and stupidity and da 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 da. Like, what made you think she had a campaign? She did not have a campaign. She had a media strategy. That's what she had. And the whole thing was a gaslight of regular people to convince you that all these people were supporting Kamala Harris, but all these people were getting paid to say they supported Kamala
Not
Harris.
Oprah. Oprah says she's not getting paid, so keep her name out y'all mouth.
Can I show you one thing that I did go
Go.
and look back up
Yes,
about Oprah?
go.
But I am, Renee, I'm going to need to take a vacation.
You are.
My
I'm sorry.
contribution has been, I need to sit down with a cup of coffee and watch the world burn, because
And a joint. And you're gonna flick your joint at the world. Keep the shit on fire.
Flick my ashes out on the world. This is, but I just wanted, just as another reminder, because back in the day, I went and found the details on this. Oprah Winfrey popularly stated that, quote, "If you are a child in the United States, you can get an education. I became so frustrated with visiting inner city schools that I just stopped going. The sense that you need to learn just isn't there. If you ask the kids what they want or need, they will say an iPod or some sneakers. In South Africa, they don't ask for money or toys. They ask for uniforms so they can go to school," end quote. I just want to remind everybody, that's Oprah Winfrey. When she was asked how come she doesn't visit black schools in the United States anymore, she said, she was like, because I'm out. I don't even go anymore because they don't care and it's hopeless. So I'm gonna go build a school that will eventually collapse in and of itself. Anyway, just another reminder.